What's up, everybody? Welcome to my latest review, R&B review. That is, the review that the album I'm about to review on is Earth, Wind and Fire's, seventh studio album, Spirit, released in 1976 on Columbia Records. Singles albums known for are Getaway, Saturday Night, and On Your Face. And this album was produced by Maurice White and Charles Stepney. Alright, so you guys should know who Earth, Wind and Fire are. I reviewed Head to the Sky, Open Our Eyes, That's the Way of the World, and Gratitude. Primary members Maurice White, rest in peace, Renee Wright, and Philip Bailey. Personnel also Larry Dunn and Jerry Peters on piano and keyboards, Al McGay and Johnny Graham on guitar, Al McGay, dope guitarist, Fred White on drums, Ralph Johnson on drums, Angie Woolfolk on percussion, Harvey Mason on percussion, Dahl Merrick and Andrew Woolfolk on sax, George Bohannon on trombone, Louis Satterfield on trombone, Lou McQuarrie on bass trombone. Yeah, you guys get the drift, okay? Alright, so the Gratitude album only skyrocketed them more into commercial success. So that same year, they actually won a Grammy for Shining Star and shit like that. And that around this time, this was actually the first time that they began to hire their own horn section, which the horn section will be commonly known as Phoenix Horns. And the Phoenix Horns, composed of Don Merritt, Louis Satterfield, Ramiri Davis, Michael Harris, and they really shaped Earth, Wind and Fire sound post That's the Way of the World and shit like that, which I will explain its importance all between then and shit like that. So yeah, just remember that the horns played a huge part in their sound. And I think around 1975 they toured a year for the first time with Santana and stuff like that. So right. And also around that same year, Maurice White established Kalimba Productions, which he signed artists like Ramsey Lewis, Denise Williams, who I recently reviewed the This Is Niecy album, which I thought was a very good album. The Emotions, which the review for Rejoice is, I think that's going to come probably in 2 more weeks, depending on my schedule. So yeah. And yes, The Emotions were originally signed to Stax Records. They were originally under Isaac Hayes' wing. I'm going to talk more about that during my review. So yeah. Alright, so Earth, Wind and Fire got back in the studio, and while they were working on this album, their longtime collaborator Charles Stepney died of a heart attack, which I will talk more about that once I review a certain song on this album. So Charles Stepney was like the main guy. He made Earth, Wind and Fire sound, not just Earth, Wind and Fire sound. Like, he perfected that lushful. Him and Maurice White perfected that lushful sound that Earth, Wind and Fire became very known for. That lushful, funky shit. And Maurice White most likely took over the rest of the production for this album. So, in a nutshell, this is pretty much, I would say, like, this album and their next album, which I'll review possibly next week, maybe, or the week after, are like their most, how can I put this? Their transitional albums and shit like that. Because if you pay attention to like Maurice White's production, especially around this time, it was like more, how can I put this? It was more African influence, more jazzy and shit like that, which I'm gonna talk more about that once I review All in All. So yeah, so dope album cover, by the way. It has them like, it looks like they're meditating, has like, the kind of like the Egyptian period kind of shit. And yeah, It has like a dope poster and shit, and got the lyrics, of course. Alright. So, of course, this album only has about 9 songs, so you guys know what I'm about to do. Alright. Track number 1, Getaway. Very dope song. Love, nice way to start off the album. Yeah, I'm gonna say that when I finish reviewing this album. Okay. It's a nice way to start off the album. What I got from that song is how one needs to try to not let negativity influence them and continue on going through the right path in life. That's what I got from that song. Very dope song. Track number 2, On Your Face, which is playing in the background. Again, in a way, I felt like On Your Face, although I did say Getaway was a nice way to start off the album, I wouldn't mind On Your Face starting off the album as well and stuff. Very dope song. Love the horns on that song and shit. It basically talks about how one's attitude can really make a difference in life and things of that nature. In other words, if I'm giving somebody a negative vibe, I shouldn't be surprised if a negative vibe comes back to me. That's how I see it and shit. I actually listened to that song. I actually remember when I heard that song on Everybody Hates Chris and stuff like that. It was that episode when Chris and Greg skipped school, I think, to watch Beverly Hills Cop. And they thought that nothing was going to happen, but Earth, Wind and Fire came to their school, and that last scene, I think they were all watching TV, and they saw Earth, Wind and Fire. I think Vernean White was on the TV, and he was all like, I really wanted to meet a black guy named Chris, only black kid named Chris. And Rochelle found no, it wasn't Beverly Hills Cop, it was Ghostbusters. It was the Ghostbusters ticket. That was a funny ass episode. That was a funny show and shit. I love that show. Yeah. Track number 3, Imagination. You can tell that's definitely Maurice's touch on that. Very cool song. Philip Bailey did his thing with singing his ass off the song and shit. Track number 4, Spirit. Interesting story about this song. Okay, so while the recording of this song, the group intended the song to be a tribute of appreciation for Charles Stepney. So Maurice was talking to Charles that morning, talking about, I want you to hear this song. And so while Charles Stepney died, it wasn't until that afternoon when he got a call, I believe it was from Vernean White, that said Charles died, and he didn't have a chance to hear this song. So I thought that was a very sad story and shit, you know what I'm saying? One of my favorite songs, basically this is just a lovely tribute and shit. Love this song so much. Track number 5, Saturday Night. That's a dope funky song right there. When it comes to singles, I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, which I'll get into that once I finish reviewing this album and shit. Track number 6, Earth, Wind and Fire. A little disclaimer: I usually don't like when artists name songs after their respectable name and shit like that. Prime example, LL Cool J on the GOAT album. But for this one, not only do I really love this song, I will actually call this maybe the best song off this project. In a way, it's basically talking about how Earth, Wind, Fire guides people to like a fulfillment of life in a way, because they're retelling like the Old Testament and shit like that. So it talks about how the significance of Earth, Wind and Fire. So that was a very cool song. Departure and B.O., those were pretty much like improvised instrumentals and shit like that. So those were pretty good as well. And the final track, Burning Bush, nice way to end off this album. Probably the most gospel influenced off this album. And that's all the tracks off this album. overall, this is one of my favorite Earth, Wind & Fire albums. But I also feel like it's their most slept on in their discography. Because when people talk about the classic period, like 73 up to 1980, 81, depending on who you ask, they'll mention Keep Your Head to the Sky. Well, not even that album like that, but it will get enough respect. That's the Way of the World, Gratitude, All in All, Hell, Raise. But you rarely hear people talk about this one because compared to all of the other ones, this one took a more somber, darker approach, to say the least, because Charles Stepney died around that time, and so you can really hear like the balance between the upbeat songs like Getaway, Getaway, compared to like the downbeat songs like hence Imagination and Spirit. But at the same time, it's like more positive. It's positive, like saying have a good life, spread positivity around no matter what, because you'll know when you'll be gone and shit. So that's what I got from this album. So yeah, this is a very good album. I wish people would revisit this album more. So yeah, Spirit, dope album. And another thing too, you really can tell Maurice White was more influenced, getting more influence with the production after Charles died and shit like that. And once I talk about All in All, I'm definitely gonna talk about All in All and shit like that. So you will see like the progression in this production and how it shaped their sound, and for also soul in the late 70s. So All in All, Earth, Wind & Fire, Spirit. They re-released this album back in 2001, so if you can find it, pick it up. And that's all I have. Thank you guys so much, and also thank my watchers for watching that 5th anniversary celebration I did. So as usual, this is your boy Reg. Peace.